And we're on in 5, 4,
Is my voice projecting?
3,
Yeah.
2, 1. Hello and good evening. Welcome to episode 3 of Reviving Discourse. It is the 30th of October, day before Halloween, 2019. I'm Don and this is Alex.
Hey, Don. Thanks for having me after the fiasco last time. I wasn't sure you would.
Is that your bit every time?
Yeah,
I like that bit. That's a good bit.
Bit now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we didn't discuss who was doing the intro either. So
no, we didn't.
We just talk about that. Talk about that later.
It's fly by night. All right. There's nothing structured here. This isn't a scripted show.
Okay. All right.
So to recap a bit on last week, the start of the stream, we talked a little bit about mental illness and then went into a political compass that we unfortunately had to rush a bit through because we were short on time. I did want to start out the stream by amending a bit on the mental illness that we talked about at the beginning last time. I spoke with a couple people who had some insights where I was talking that it was really hard for people who for people to listen about mental illness. Like, nobody wants to hear it from you. But one of the people I was talking with about it, they said that it's really hard for them to open up about it themselves because they don't want to have other people look at them in a down way. Another person I was speaking with about it said that they don't want to be labeled that way, and they have such a negative idea of what mental illness is. It's just really messed up that it's both ways. Both, one, a lot of people aren't prepared to listen, and two, a lot of people aren't prepared to share. So it was like a level up from what I was thinking of last week.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that. Thanks.
That's all I wanted to add on to it. All right, so what do we have to talk about this week?
I believe we were going to discuss fake Twitter beef.
Ooh.
Amongst hip hop artists. Just kidding. No, amongst political people talking about politics on the internet. We had briefly touched on it in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to be curious if we were going to be able to try to get someone through social media to have a reasonable discussion with us.
Ooh, you mean like actually go on Twitter live and try to find someone to reply to us?
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Ooh.
If we have time.
Okay, I have an idea. Let's start talking about something. And then I'll try to find someone on Twitter in the meantime and see if people are beefing or something, and I'll respond to it and ask if they want to talk.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
So one subject that I do have to talk about, we kind of touched on it a bit with the political compass, illegal immigration.
Oh, right. Illegal immigration. Do you want to, should I start this time?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I think you had opening statements last time.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Just try to dig myself a hole as deep as I can here. I was really shocked about the results of the political spectrum test we took last week because I landed a lot more left on the political spectrum than I thought I was than you.
Yeah,
like
way more.
How many points was it? It was like 40 more points. It wasn't even that different. I think it was a lot. But
and we're both liberals.
Oh God,
hard liberals.
God. I don't think so. Lord help us. But
you don't think that's correct?
Yeah. Do you think you're a hard liberal?
I mean, I guess I don't know. I looked at the definition of liberal. I'm like, okay, yeah, that kind of sounds a little bit like me. But it doesn't sound like the liberals that I think about on the internet.
No. Oh yeah, the vocal minority of the far left.
Yeah, I don't think those people are liberals.
There's something else.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. Whenever you go too far left or right, it gets kind of weird quickly, I think. So.
Anyway, you were saying about your opening statement for illegal immigration.
So illegal immigration. Mm-hmm. My point being that people are going to know why I scored so liberally on that test when I talk about illegal immigration, because I think there's a huge overreaction to it. I think that I don't think it's this. I don't think it exists in the way people think that it does. And I don't think the stereotypical illegal immigrant that is doing more harm
Hmm.
than helping themselves is that rational fear. I think that's an irrational fear. And I think it's an irrational fear that's been employed by leaders since history to try to get elected and to get into power. And I think that's what Trump did with illegal immigrants. If you make an entire group of people
You think he was
that is your
demonizing them?
enemy, yeah, if you demonize an entire group of people, you have a common enemy. The Mongols are at the gates. What is it? Uh, the Vandals that
Oh.
destroyed Rome. These people that you can justify doing things by demonizing them. And I think that's what's going on mostly. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think, based off of what I've got, is that it didn't really feel exaggerated to me. I'm more worried about people who come in illegally and then can't be held responsible to pay for the same amount that I do for the services that they use. For instance, there did you know illegal immigrants can take advantage of welfare systems?
I didn't know that.
Hmm. Um,
Is that true?
yeah, absolutely.
I'll pull that up.
The because ICE as a government agency is like they don't communicate, like they don't publish who is they don't make sure that they're legal or legal residents whenever they request. Oh hey, I fixed chat. Chat wasn't working for a little bit. I had the wrong window open.
Oh.
So if you said anything for the first 5 minutes, we didn't see it. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I can't believe it's almost the year of 1030. I don't get the
Nikki,
name.
are you in here?
Hi Nikki.
She might be in here right now.
Hi mom.
My entire family watching, yeah.
Um,
We just had a baby. So
congratulations, by the way. What's her name?
yeah. Lucy View.
Lucy
I should
View.
have said her last name on the stream. I
That's
gotta
good.
get better at internet protocols,
it's all right.
security. But yep. Sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
Your brain's too fried for good political questions.
Yeah. No, I can hang. I can hang.
No, that's what
Here, I'm
Romwin just
drinking-
said.
Oh yeah.
I know
Absolutely.
you've gotten like half a second of sleep since your child was born in the last day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not the greatest situation, but it is the greatest situation.
So
Obviously.
my only issue with illegal immigration is twofold: the drug cartels and the taking advantage of tax or public services without paying for them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two issues. Well,
They're paying sales tax, right?
they're paying sales tax.
Paying sales tax.
Do you know what sales tax
You know-
is, Alex?
It's a
You know what it
crime
is.
against underage people because they have to pay sales tax and they don't get to vote on how it's spent.
Ooh. I don't even know what sales tax is used for. I'd assumed it's for it, like it just goes to the company's funds and then it helps them pay off the taxes that they're required to pay. But I could be completely. I'm pretty sure I'm 100% wrong on that. That's just because I worked at fast food and we took sales tax in and it all just went into the safe just like the regular money.
So, question about your statement: are you saying that illegal immigrants are duping the system?
Yes.
Somehow, and
Yes.
that they're getting benefits that they're not allowed to get?
Yes.
Because federal rules generally bar illegal aliens from participation in state and local public benefit programs unless the
Generally.
benefit is for treatment of an emergency medical condition.
You legal
So
immigrants
that
get SNAP.
So I think there's this thing that says if it's an emergency situation, they do get treatment. That would be like quote unquote stealing. How you think it is?
There's a huge list of how you become eligible as a non-citizen in order to get food stamps. There's like a lot of fine print and whatnot, like asylum seekers, children under 18 years of age.
Yeah. That's So the children are stealing the money.
I mean,
That's
the
where the
parents
money's
are
going. It
the
was the
par-
children all along. We
well,
got, ladies
my,
and gentlemen, we got them.
if I
Those
go
conniving little children.
if I go to France and don't get a job and start getting government subsidies for whatever reason when I'm not helping their economy whatsoever,
Mhm.
I'd say there's something wrong with that, regardless of my situation, right? Especially if
You
it was
would
on a long-term basis.
you wouldn't take the help if you needed it?
Um,
I would take the help if I needed it. I mean, I wish I had more help. The insurance situation in this country is bad, but that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about it. Are they also abusing insurance? Are they abusing the medical system? You did mention the medical system. The medical
I
system's out of whack. We discussed that last episode.
right
So if
the
they're abusing an out of whack system and they're able to survive better, don't you think that's an American thing?
not if you're
Is
not a
that
citizen, no,
possible? Am I
not if you're not a
reaching? If you're
citizen,
not a citizen, you're not an
Mm-mm.
American. But we're all immigrants.
and
That's
we're
let's just get
citizens,
let's get all the dumb ones out of the way real
and
quick. We're all immigrants, bro.
yes, I'm not. I
Yeah.
have nothing wrong. I have nothing against immigrants. People who
Okay.
immigrate here and do the things they got to do to not break the law. That's fine. I'm talking about
I
the
ha-
people who come in here and squat and
the,
don't pay taxes.
well, they kind of are in a rough spot a lot of the time. And you and me looked up one day how rough of a spot some of the people that are waiting for
Mhm.
asylum are in. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. They have a couple options. They're in danger from someone where they're at, or they could risk going to a place that if something bad happened to them, they would accidentally be stealing from you. Sure. Like if they got hit by a car, they'd accidentally take how much money out of their wallets.
Yeah, but the question is, why are we responsible for that? I don't
Because we're
what
Americans. Don't you believe in American exceptionalism?
define for me.
American exceptionalism. Not manifest destiny. Don't go there. That's weird. I didn't like that. I wasn't there for the vote. I would
Hmm.
have just parked in New York if I was on if I was an immigrant. But let's see.
I found the Wikipedia article for it. It's
Oh,
one
great.
of three related ideas. The first is the history of the United States is inherently different from those of other nations.
Mhm.
There's a lot of words here. It's
Let me
apparently
help.
used. It's apparently used for a couple different things. Which one are you wanting to use it for? What's your definition?
I'll before I even read that article, I'm gonna say that all of the things that are American exceptionalism are the things that you don't think are American because of some little caveat or some type of justification that you've given me before. That isn't exactly a justification. It's not technically law, but it's an ideal that we've passed down generation to generation in America. It's not technically law. You don't have to do it, but it's expected that we're going to try to be that way because we're Americans. And it's
So
kind of it sounds archaic when you say it out loud, but this is let me like give an example.
okay.
Remember the thing on the Statue of Liberty that says, "Give me your tired, your weak, your huddled masses."
Yes,
What
yes, I
I
remember us
talked
talking
about
about that.
that as an example of American exceptionalism is we believed in that as a culture and we put that on our building. And what was your thing? Why did it not count?
Because it was just someone put the plaque there, right?
Someone just put a plaque there. It's
Yeah.
not
So
etched in
that's not
stone.
like
It's not part of the Constitution.
it's just a
It's
poem that
nothing.
someone came up with
It's
100 years ago. That
it's
sounded good.
nothing tangible. It's a poem. Exactly.
Mhm.
You can't capture that with a law.
I will
That's what I'm
agree that
talking about.
that argument was weak. I don't think that that's like sanctioning illegal immigration though. I think that if your tired, weak, and huddled masses come here legally, bring them in. Absolutely.
But if we make laws that make it hard for them to do that on purpose because we don't like them,
You think that is that your argument that immigration laws are stupid?
yeah, I think that the immigration laws are set up to keep immigrants out, and they've just recently started being employed more than they have been.
I see arguments online about people saying that illegal immigration directly influences the fact that uh, the United States dollar is inflating, but wages are not inflating with it. Like you're still making minimum wage if you go work at McDonald's. So because they could just hire a person who's illegal and only pay them $5 an hour. I've seen that argument a lot. I don't know how much depth there is to it. It sounds like there's a good argument there because we have such an overflow of like cheap labor in that people will work for lower wages if it's under the table. I wouldn't say McDonald's as a corporation would do that, but that's sort of an argument.
So corporations are abusing these people.
Yeah.
I would argue that the government's abusing these people in some cases.
What do you mean?
When they I don't want to. Well, I do. I have to go here. That's the point of the show, I guess. Remember the that law. What I was just saying before that argument that I don't really comprehend. I don't know how to Google that. You know.
Okay.
I don't know how to verify if that's true, but when children were being separated from their parents, and that had been the law for a long time. We just hadn't been doing it. And then Trump started doing it, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can help me out.
So you're saying
Hopefully.
about Donald Trump separating, or not, I shouldn't say Donald Trump, but the himself. He just goes right down there. Yeah. Obama did that before Trump. You remember the crying child in a cage? If I'm not mistaken, that was Obama.
Let's not talk about the propaganda from either side.
Anywho,
let's leave that off the table because that's not really discourse.
What was it? Separating children from their parents while being processed as an illegal immigrant when caught crossing the border. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Well, I was just thinking, I just saw in the chat that Obama did that, but he didn't get publicity. So that kind of verifies. That's seems correct. To be common knowledge. So I'm not saying that Obama, well, that's kind of a, Donald, am I using this right? Straw man? Because I'm not saying that I'm not trying to prosecute Trump with this argument.
Okay.
I'm saying that these laws that have existed hadn't been acted on as often, and people are starting to act on them more.
They're getting publicized more.
Do you think they're just getting publicized more?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Classic. The police brutality defense. Let's see.
Well, it's just becoming more common knowledge because during the witch hunts of the election of 2016 and after, Donald Trump would, or they were grasping at anything that they could do to make him seem like a worse person. They were just clawing at everything they could, and that's one of the things that they found, that nobody really knew about this, so let's spin it this way. One thing that news media outlets are really, really good at is spinning articles in a way that it seems terrible. Then if you actually look at the source material, it's not really nearly as bad.
Or they okay. This is a lot of beating around the bush, I think. I don't think this has to do with the separate. It happened.
Okay,
you're saying that the way that it happened, the public is perceiving it differently now because there's more cameras on it.
No, they're perceiving it more. I'm not saying differently.
They're perceiving it more. Mm-hmm. Okay. So to what end?
End? I see what you're saying when you were talking about you didn't want to demonize. You weren't prosecuting Donald Trump. So you're just saying that it's a bad thing that we separate their children from their families. Am I understanding that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think that because I believe in American exceptionalism. Do you separate criminals from their children?
Yes.
When they do crimes? Yes. Are these the same type of criminals that we're used to in this country? Asylum seekers?
I mean,
that seems like a different type of crime to me.
If
someone seeking asylum and getting busted.
So you're saying we should categorize illegal immigration differently in order to accept or give them more rights than one of our own criminals?
Well, yeah, I
I
would say that.
I disagree with
What
that.
about what about diplomatic plates? You don't just tow the guy. You don't tow an ambassador's car. He parks just because he doesn't understand traffic laws. I don't think that's what diplomatic plates are for. We have to argue. We have to argue on this show. So
So
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna double down.
I totally disagree. I think that we should 100% separate them while they're being detained and processed. I don't think there's any we if we treated
Yes.
if we treated immigrants or illegal specifically immigrants better than we treated the people who live in our country and pay taxes, etc., so forth,
Mm-hmm.
that's just backwards. That's just
You're-
absolutely backwards. Then we get places like Sweden.
You're trying to separate us from them in a fundamental way that kind of speaks
No,
to the point.
I'm doing the opposite. I'm saying that they should be held to the same standards that we are.
He's doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I'm saying that we.
Can we
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
oh no, you. Oh no. I'm saying that we need to hold them to the same standard that we're held to. If we commit a crime, then certain things happen. If they commit a crime, the same things happen.
You can't commit that crime.
Not in the United States, I can't. I can do it somewhere else. And other places have this very similar illegal immigration processes that we do.
I believe if you elaborate more on your stance and why you believe in your stance, I'll be able to help you understand why you're wrong. Why don't you delve in deep to your why? Why do you have this opinion about illegal immigrants? What is the fundamental truth that you're trying to get out?
I think that they should be held to the same standards that we are. That's all I'm saying. If they commit, why? Because they
aren't us. They aren't as blessed as us. Can I take it to an emotional place?
Go ahead.
I think that this can't be. I think that my American exceptionalism argument is going to hold up no matter what, because I don't think that there's anybody in the world that thinks that someone who's in danger and is fleeing from someone should be prosecuted in the same way that a criminal is.
So you
know
think
what I mean? It's like you're saying like everybody that shoots a home invader should go to jail.
That's not at all what I'm saying.
And that's the opposite of what you think.
No, I'm not saying that at all. So what situation? So your argument is that there's extraneous circumstances where people are in grave danger, and if they don't cross the border into the United States, that they're going to stay in danger. Who are they running from in this situation that you're coming up with? At a fundamental level, I don't believe Donald believes in that. Only when it is done illegally. I mean, not done.
Done.
Okay, I'll give you a minute to structure that one more time. So, who are they running from, Alex?
Who are these people running from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's really dangerous people in these countries that are kind of.
You're treading on water right now.
Why is that? You think you're gonna snare me into a trap?
Well, no. That you're saying that the countries that these people are fleeing from are like bad places to be in.
They're not as good as America. I would say they're dangerous. That's why people are seeking asylum. The proof is in the pudding. The people that they're, by virtue of the fact that there are people running away saying, please help me, you know that there's danger there.
That's some dangerous thought patterns you have there. We're a better country. So
American exceptionalism? No, I don't think that's a bad argument at all.
Hey, I agree with you. I agree. I think America is I think America is the best country in the world. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until somebody needs help. Then you say, nope, We're gone. We're not even a country. You can't come here.
No, you could come here. Just follow the appropriate channels. How about the mixture of Venezuelans fleeing state oppression and the migrants fleeing poverty? Isn't there like a state of emergency from that we're allowing asylum seekers from Venezuela? Like allowing exceptions for that? I believe so.
Trump did a state of emergency at our border too. So that's yeah, I don't think you want to use that one.
Anyway, so you were saying
Sorry.
that they're no, it's my fault too. They're running away from dangerous people in their countries. Let's assume that's true. So
let's assume that's true for a philosophical argument. Let's assume that it's absolutely true.
So these dangerous people can have their entire clutches over the entire country. And then once they jump over this line where now it's American taxpayers, then they're safe?
These dangerous people?
No, the people who are running from the dangerous people. Once they jump over that line, they're safe?
Yeah, their jurisdiction ends outside of a certain limit. Their gang power can't infiltrate America.
So these are specifically people running from the cartels and gangs from, we'll say, Mexico.
That's what I would think. From my very limited knowledge of it, that's what I would think. There's a lot of it. Right? That's who you're afraid of, and that's who I'm afraid of too. So we can both agree there.
Sure.
Or, like this guy's saying, state oppression. If it's not a criminal entity that's doing it, but it's the actual government of that country. How did all of our great grandparents get here? Oh, except, I mean, I'm Native American, so it's kind of different for me. But a lot of people were fleeing state oppression when they became Americans, and they cried a single tear, and they said, "Never again." Just like Finn in that episode of Finn and Jake, where he boomed in a leaf, and no one helped him. It's an emotional argument, Donald. You can't defeat an emotional argument. You're gonna look mean.
I have nothing against immigrants. But we need to draw
illegal. No, we need to talk about illegal immigrants because that's the only way they're gonna get in. If they don't have time, because they're fleeing bad guys, you keep acting like it's like, yeah, just go to line 2, fill out the form. Remember when we looked it up? Remember that long Google search we had to find all day of the entire processes for?
So what about the people who are here for years and make no progress towards becoming a citizen of the country?
Boot them out.
Oh, really?
We need to get rid of them. Yeah, as soon as they commit a crime, or arrest them. Take away their kids. I don't care. As soon as they commit an actual crime, you're busted. You have a temporary green card if you snuck in here and you don't do any crimes. As soon as your tail lights out, I don't care. You messed up. Just get out of here. Don't break laws that are good. Otherwise, you're defeating my entire argument.
Okay. Well, then I think we're pretty close to agreement because.
Really?
So what's your threshold? How long do you want to give them to make an effort in order to become a citizen? Not necessarily become one, but actually like make a reasonable effort towards the path, the roadway to citizenship.
Whenever their taxes are due.
So they have until the next year.
Whenever their taxes are due, yeah.
Okay.
How about that? Will that make you happy? Gosh. Are we doing it?
I think that's fair. I think what you're saying is I could agree with. So you're not for illegal immigration. You're for letting them in and give them a chance first.
Yeah, I have a plan, bro.
Really?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, let's hear that plan.
That was the entirety of the plan.
Oh, okay, that's a pretty good plan.
I was being, yeah.
All right, so let's see.
Nikki, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen,
bringing our family down as a unit.
So if anybody in chat knows what a good way to find someone who's saying something about politics or something on Twitter.
Yeah, if you have any anybody that you follow that you think is like inflammatory in the way that they remark and is
So-
like probably hard to reason with?
I stopped using Twitter for one reason. I started using it during the 2016 election in order to follow with Donald Trump tweets because the media was like, wow, he's saying these horrible things. And we got a bandwagon on him, and I wanted to see it for myself. And it wasn't as bad as people were saying. But what is bad, what makes Twitter an absolute cesspool and refine my idea that Twitter or any social media platform can't be used for political discourse is the replies to the tweets. The replies to the tweets are awful. So here's a Trump tweet. I'll link it in chat real quick. Let's get a. How do you?
Oh man, I'm so stupid.
What
Acting like
happened?
I know about illegal immigration. I'm just thinking back on how the how I was floundering for a minute there. Didn't my emotional arguments don't hang well on a podcast, I don't think. That's important to learn.
So here's the tweet that I'm referring to.
Okay.
It's Donald Trump. Can you see it? He's giving the dog that happened during the gosh, I can't even remember the guy who got absolutely annihilated during that attack.
Mhm.
Whatever his name was. The dog was a part of the team.
Baghdadi.
Baghdadi, thank you.
Mhm.
Al Baghdadi. So I haven't seen this tweet yet. I'm going to scroll down and see what people are saying. Okay.
All right.
So
Jesus, help
let's
us
see. Okay, scrolling down. People are just making memes.
No.
Okay, here we go.
Memes.
President Zero by I'm not gonna say their names. That'd be just mean.
Yeah.
A picture of Donald Trump with Comic Sans in all caps traitor,
Oh wow.
and then a reply to that, and it says graphic design is my passion, and it's made in MS Paint. That's really funny.
Oh my gosh.
You guys can see this tweet for yourself. Just click that link and scroll down with me. These are actually pretty funny. Someone advertising their parody that they made of CNN. There's nobody like actually talking about it, but to be fair, this isn't really a political charge one. So let me go to a different Donald Trump tweet right now.
You can't reason with that. That's
okay. So here, this one. Donald Trump quoted, "Adam Schiff's drive to impeach Trump based on opinions, deceptions, and illusions, not facts," is something that he was quoting. So let's see the replies to this, because this one I'm gonna bet is really juicy. Here, I'm gonna post this one. Reviving Discourse Twitter win soon, probably. Okay, here we go. Scrolling down a little bit. So someone saying thank you for your service to the American people. Adam Schiff, the person who Donald Trump was talking about. Trump used We the People's office of the president and the weight of We the People's government for his own personal gain again. He also used the We the People money. Okay, here's a good one. Here's a good thread. Okay, so this tweet right here. Let me put it on screen so you can see it.
okay.
Trump used We the People's office of the president and the weight of We the People's government for his own personal gain again. What does that mean? What do you get from that?
Trump used what is this in reference to?
This is in reference to Greg Jarrett talking about Adam Schiff's drive to impeach Trump.
Well, yeah, but Adam Schiff probably has reasons that he's saying that. I would have to say, what is it based on opinions?
Mm-hmm.
Adam Schiff's drive to impeach Trump based on opinions. Well, you can't impeach someone based off opinions.
Right.
So
I think that's what they're talking about. I can click on the article real quick. It's a Fox News article. Ooh. Gosh. Okay. So they're just talking about Adam Schiff, who is a Democrat of the House of Representatives for California.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the people who is really outspoken about Trump has done something so terrible that we need to impeach him.
All right.
And so
Okay.
Greg
Well,
Jarrett, who is who made this article, he's a editor for Fox News. And so Donald Trump was retweeting that, and then this person, at Airvucht, says Trump used "We the People's" office of the president and the weight of "We the People's" government for his own personal gain. Again, what does that mean?
I don't know. I think that that's kind of a rabbit hole, because that's a rabbit hole question, because you're looking for fact checking, right? Like you're trying to
I
see
want to
what he's
I want to know
referencing.
what he's talking about, because I'm
We
reading
could
this
ask
and I
him.
don't know what he's
Should we
saying.
ask him? Should we
Sure.
ask the people listening too? Does anyone have any inkling what he's
Anybody?
referencing before we jump in on him?
I have no clue.
The People's Office of the President and the People's Government for his own personal gain. Again, if he's talking about withdrawing troops from the border of Syria, I need to look up more.
Like, it feels like this
What
isn't
is it?
even a reply to this tweet, right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, that's a horrible picture of the president. Okay. All right, let's see.
Okay, here I got another one. I'll post a link in chat.
You know, there was a recent episode of John Oliver that I know that I think you could actually sit through it, though. I don't think he goes too. Sometimes he goes really dumb, and he just makes pot shots at people's appearances and stuff.
Right.
And he's crude and vulgar, but I don't really care about that. Point being that there's a great episode that he's talking about. What I think this guy might be talking about is that Trump's doing something with troop movements in the Middle East that is beneficial to him and is shocking everybody.
Could you explain that to me?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. While you do
Trump
that,
declares victory in northeastern Syria
so
as Russian troops move in.
So here I have one. A tweet from the Lush Larry.
Oh,
I posted it in chat. Dear Mr. Trump, Mr. Schiff is going to impeach you for crimes you have committed. If you were not such a criminal, this would not be happening. Everyone that has testified so far pretty much say you were guilty of a quid pro quo. Confess now and ask for mercy.
Oh, yeah. That's what the left always wants you to do. There's like, just confess. We know you did it. You have to say you're sorry forever, and then we'll still never buy your stuff again.
It's crazy to me, right? Like what?
Well,
what?
we can't. Yeah, these are. We could destroy these crazy people all night.
Is that all it is? Is it just crazy people who want to have a voice? Because this is Twitter. This is the president of the United States said something to the people, and like I scrolled down maybe 2 pages and found this person talking.
Yeah.
So is that just a crazy person, or does this person have a voice?
Huh. I don't know. You want to try to see? Want to find out? You want to be like, hey, what are you referencing specifically?
Okay, sure.
Which crimes did he commit?
Here, I'll post it. I'll post a tweet. Hey, so what should I say? I said, hey, what are you referring to specifically?
Yeah, which crimes did he commit? I'm asking for a book report.
As in, what crimes did he commit?
I'm trying to do a book report. Do kids still do book reports?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Why not? It's Twitter. He lied.
Hey, what are you referring to specifically? As in, what crimes did he commit?
Yeah, all right. I just know that you'd love to learn. Don't say that. He's gonna know you're sarcastic. He's gonna know you're sarcastic.
Smiley. Can I put a smiley face on it?
No, it's not gonna help. He's crazy. Okay. He can't read that. That's why you have to lie. You have to lie to these crazies. You have to say, hey, I'm on your side. LOL. Me too.
I doubt I'll get a reply.
What are you talking about?
But maybe I'll get it. I'll probably get a reply from someone else who's looking at the Twitter thread, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll leave that open. You were saying about the John Oliver thing?
Well, this John Oliver episode, President Trump said Wednesday a permanent ceasefire had been established in eastern Syria, declaring a major diplomatic victory for his administration, even as Russian forces began moving into territory once controlled by the United States and its Syrian Kurdish allies. So there was these people called the Kurds, and we were allies with them. from what I understand.
Well, that's a pretty good
And
understanding, I think.
yeah, I got it. Don't worry about me. And we withdrew troops from that area where they were fighting, and and like there's a bad video of somebody getting killed, like because the bad guys captured a bunch of people and let a bunch of prisoners go. And everyone, even Republicans, he showed a clip of Fox and Friends asking Trump, like, "What are you doing, Donald Trump?" And so I thought it was a bigger deal than it usually would be. What are your thoughts? You don't know anything about that, do you?
Well, specifically pulling out the troops, you mean?
Yeah.
I think that there's people who say that we pulled out too early. How long were we there for, and how early is too early? Because whenever any military presence leaves a place, there's going to be a power vacuum, right? So
Exactly.
who's what? I asked someone on a website that I frequent called Funny Junk. Someone was talking about this, and they said that we were pulling out too soon, and it created a power vacuum, and that it's going to cause a lot of harm. Here, I could actually pull up the quote real quick, but 1 second. Going to my.
So maybe that person that was talking about the crimes that he was, or what he was doing for his own benefit, it says that they suspect that he's capitulating to Turkish demands, which I wish there was articles about what happened instead of like 3 steps later, like all the details at once. There's all this politically charged nonsense at the top. You have to surf through it.
All right, so I found the thread. So it was a conversation about the government pulling out of Syria, and someone. The argument started with someone commenting on it, and it says, if you reduce the number of countries you're involved in, you still reduce your global foreign involvement, even if the number of troops increases in countries where you were already heavily involved. The post itself was this. Donald Trump says he wants to end U.S. involvement in foreign wars, so he pulls troops out of Syria and then sends them straight to Iraq. Is that true?
Like, just no. He sent. There's like 250 or 300 left guarding an oil garrison or something, but he pulled out the 1,000 or so other ones. Like Romwind said, the 1,000 or so American troops was the only thing keeping the Turks from invading northeast Syria. Okay, thank you. I trying to keep up with the stuff is crazy.
So the 1,000 or so American troops that was the only thing keeping the Turks from invading northeast Syria.
So Trump pulls out these troops, everyone surprising everyone, and then the defense line, like broke, and people got captured, and then they got shot on the ground, like a war.
Is that true?
Yeah, there's a video of it in this episode of John and Oliver. I keep that's the only thing I've seen recently, so I keep drawing from it. Just had a baby, by the way.
Then I guess I'm not sure why. It's hard to say, right? Because the American troops there definitely did good in the entire time they were there, right?
Yeah.
So are people mad because we didn't do enough? Or are people mad because we left and bad things happened because we left?
We kind of let them down, because I think I said this on the first podcast when we talked about like intervening in countries' affairs.
Repeat that, you cut out.
Oh, sorry. I think I said on a previous podcast about how it's hard for us as the country to be the police of the world.
Right.
I think that we should. I said, and I quote, I think that we should, but I don't think that we can. And this is what I was talking about, is that we're fickle as a nation, and we change our mind. And then like suddenly like a fortified place that you're like safe at, the next day, the stuff that's keeping you safe is gone, and you just get jumped by the bad guys.
Ooh,
and that doesn't feel good. I keep going to an emotional place. I'm sorry.
it's
My
hard.
wife
It's
just
hard
gave
not to.
birth. I'm
It's hard not to. The Kurds fought alongside Americans against ISIS. They also provided extremely crucial intel during the Baghdadi raid.
Yeah, the Kurds are like our low key homies. I was reading about them.
Okay.
Let me find them. They've been our allies for a while.
In the comment thread, someone said, the person who I was referring to, if the mere presence of the American soldiers prevented the rise of terrorist organizations and the massacre of civilians, then yes, our troops are obliged to stay there, at least until the situation can be stabilized to prevent the aforementioned outcomes. And I said, why are we responsible for policing them? And they replied, because not doing so is leading to the rise of terrorist organizations and the massacre of civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a real life. That's a live time comment.
Yeah.
That you're getting?
This was let's see. It was on the 20th, 10 days ago.
Oh.
Then someone replied to that, not me. I hadn't looked at it in a while. They said, so, but you still haven't answered the question. Why is it our job? And he didn't reply.
Because of American exceptionalism. Again, I would say that if we have the power and we don't use it, we're like Spider-Man letting his uncle get shot. His uncle being the Kurds who got shot.
Okay. It's hard to say, right? Because you can't put.
This isn't a superhero movie. This isn't. Yeah.
You can't put
That's
responsibility on a different country in order to stabilize your own country. Like, sure, you might need help, and sure, you can ask for help. But if they say no, then that country isn't bad for saying no. They just aren't helping.
Am
I wrong?
I don't know. An enemy of my enemy is, so that means that we're friends. I mean, if we're helping, we're kind of helping bad people, don't you think?
Ooh, that's a really good argument, Romwind. So we pulled out. Why didn't anybody else jump in if it was so important that the world defend this place? That's a super good argument.
Because I mean, aren't we better than all of them? I mean, don't we have the power?
Are we morally better? Probably not.
No.
Are we stronger?
And
Absolutely.
I want to be clear that I'm being facetious about this. When I talk about the American exceptionalism argument, I'm talking about something that's like ephemeral and I think is lost in our culture. I don't think it really exists anymore. And I think that the people that are talking about it are not like actually advocates of it.
I see what you're saying.
Like isolationists. You're kind of walking on dangerous isolationist territory, right? Would you say that being an isolated country would be okay?
Probably not, to be honest.
We were isolationists in World War II for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
And well, we weren't really isolationists. That's probably the wrong term. We were definitely selling weapons to the Allies.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We just weren't putting troops on the ground.
Good memory. Wow. WW2 history.
Yeah, that's me. Handy. I know nothing about World War One though.
Oh, World War One, the trenches.
Yeah, all I know is that it got into my tanks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'd say we were probably a bit isolationist directly after the war with the war for independence in the late 1700s. I'd say we were definitely isolationists then. At that point, like we weren't really getting involved in places where it wasn't like directly advantageous for us.
Right after like our independence, our battle for independence.
Yeah,
because letters got here at the speed of ships, so it wasn't really. We just knew what had happened after it happened. At that point,
I mean, wars even then lasted years.
Yeah, that's true. I'll acquiesce there. I think we were at that point. You think so? But we definitely weren't. What about? Wait a minute. What about the War of 1812?
What about it?
We were assisting. We were assisted by the French, or we were fighting the French, and we Native Americans were fighting the French, and we assisted Native Americans. Does that count?
You mean
Is that right?
on our land or on North American soil?
War of 1812. Hold on. This is so off topic.
That was in America before that we had that many states.
Yeah. So this is right after independence. 1776 to 1812, about maybe one generation.
Yeah, but
right?
we weren't helping.
The
We weren't
United
helping
States
another
took on
nation.
the greatest naval power in the world, Great Britain, in a conflict that would have an immense impact on the young country's future.
Yeah, that was us. That they were fighting us.
British attempts to restrict U.S. trade, the Royal Navy's impressment, but we got help from someone, didn't we?
I don't think so.
It was a co-op. I definitely remember that. Oh my God, there's an ad plan. Sorry, everyone.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia article about the belligerents, and it's all United States flags. All the commanders were United States. We had the U.S. It was just the U.S. Army versus the British Army.
Oh, well,
as well as some
not technically isolationist.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we were really keep our own stuff until the First World War.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important not to be an isolationist, is because war happened twice.
The World War.
We can't be entirely isolationist.
Well, I mean, I don't think us being isolationists caused the world wars to happen.
No, if we had been isolationists, then it would just be.
Well, I mean, the reason we got involved is because it was getting out of control, and we didn't want these certain people to win.
Just like in Syria.
Well, it's not like a global scale in Syria.
It could be, though.
It's not there yet.
Hitler didn't start as so you think we should wait until it's too, like, you would argue that we waited the right amount of time to enter World War II?
Yes. We didn't
because what about all the atrocities committed by Hitler in that time?
Oh, sure. But why do we need to kill or why do we have to have American soldiers die for a fight that's not ours? Like, would you, for instance, let me put an emotional argument here. Would you want to grab your rifle, suit up, go across the ocean, and start shooting at people while they're shooting back at you for a nation that is under attack by a terrorist organization? Would you do that?
Me personally?
You personally, yes.
I would like to. I mean, I would love to pursue.
But what about your family?
I think I'm too old now.
Well, what about your family?
Yeah, I'm too old in my family now.
Exactly.
I can't do it anymore. I'm not brave enough.
So you're too old. You're not even 30. So you're saying you want people younger than you without families to go do that?
All right, that's a great argument.
That's the whole.
I don't want anyone to go do that.
That's the whole point. It's that when I say why is it our responsibility? Why are we responsible for doing that? I'm more saying why do our soldiers have to risk their lives to do this?
Aren't there soldiers? But there are soldiers willing to do this all the time.
Sure, absolutely.
They're willing to because they're exceptional. They believe they're doing something. That was a Louis C.K. bit that I was quoting. They believe that they're doing something good, but then he goes, "No, I really mean it." Like, in their heart of hearts, they are doing something good, and everyone says that it's good around them, and they're scared, but they're doing it anyway because they want to try to help.
Right. I mean, there's people who are actual heroes and want to do right by the world. Sure.
Yeah, you cut out there. Say that again.
There are people who want to be legitimate heroes in the world, and they want to go out and save people.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who join the military in order to get a scholarship.
Right.
So there's
people that join the military to get.
Yeah, in order to pay their own debt and to pay their own student debts. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, I mean, that's awful.
That's really sad.
It does sound a little worse. I mean, when you put it that way, sure, I have to agree with you there. Sounds
The U.S. joined World War II after Pearl Harbor. Yes, directly after Pearl Harbor, we immediately retaliated.
yeah. We smoked him as soon as it was us.
So, and then you said another thing. How about your children?
He said that, yeah.
Yeah,
And I do think I covered that because
Well,
I'm not brave enough to do that.
We can take that two different ways. How about your children? One, how about defending a future for your children? Sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
How about?
Well, what if I'm afraid of this? What if like the forces got bigger? I don't know.
Yeah,
We're afraid to commit the sins of the past. You know?
I think that there's like in wars, the modern warfare has taken such a huge step up that we don't need to put feet on the ground as much anymore. We don't have to dig trenches. We don't even have to use tanks anymore. It's all done with. It could be done with drone strikes. It could be done with intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Yeah, dude, this is so funny. This is why I love this podcast, because I feel like a couple weeks ago we had the exact opposite argument of when I was talking about Hong Kong, and you were saying, "Well, how were we going to interfere in Hong Kong, Alex? We're going to nuke them." Because of you remember
what I'm saying though
so
is like
kind of swapped spots. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm just specifically talking about escalation. Like if a war gets too bad, the nukes are coming, right?
Yeah, I would argue that's true.
That's like the penultimate state of warfare. If it gets too crazy, then we're gonna start dropping bombs that destroy the planet, right?
Yeah.
So I think that no nation wants to escalate that far. I think that because everybody has a big red button at their desk now, in order to say, give me what I want or I'll press this big red button and kill everybody, I think everybody has a huge bargaining chip. Yeah, that's correct. Mutually assured destruction is the only reason a third world war has and will likely not happen.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think
anti-ballistic missile treties. Yeah, you know, we decide not to use the things that can stop nukes or limit the amount. That's so wild to think about.
Having nuclear power effectively stops wars, and that is insane to think about.
Having nuclear power stops nuclear power.
Yeah. That we can allegory that to owning self-defense firearms for home defense.
Yeah.
So owning weapons prevents people from coming into your house and stealing your shit.
I would argue that well, I guess we have to because it's the podcast. I don't think that's a good allegory because there's a lot more accidents that happen with firearms than with nukes. With
nukes, is that true?
We remember all the accidents with nukes. We don't remember all the accidents with guns.
I mean, sure. What about
as a culture? I mean,
someone said at work the other day, seatbelts cause. Seatbelts cause more deaths than they've saved because people are now more careful when they drive.
Yeah, I mean,
the opposite. People are less careful because they feel safer.
Don't play that numbers game.
Right.
It's fun. It's fun in your head. I really need some more black coffee. Can you?
Yeah, go ahead. So as he refills coffee, really quick, we could just talk about how his arguments just don't work. I'm just kidding. That's not nice to say. You know, this man had a child today, like within the last 24 hours. He had a kid, and he's still here. He's so tired. He just wanted to do this show. I think that's really cool of him. So give him a big thank you, Alex, when he gets back. Welcome back. I was talking crap on you the whole time.
Oh, thanks, Romwind. You were talking crap on me the whole time?
Whole time.
It's just like work. Every time I walk over there, it's like, whiz, huh? Nothing?
Every time.
Tim. Like if you cry.
Tim. Did you...
Oh, it's hot. Sorry.
You okay? Is it waking you up? Is the heat waking you up
Yeah.
more than the coffee is?
Yeah, that adrenaline.
All right. So I saw.
So we were kind of coming to an agreement a little bit. Whenever we just start talking about how cool stuff is, I think we kind of reached a little bit of an agreement
About how cool
or at least
nuclear weaponry is.
Well, how awe-inspiring. Like the word awesome, but not how surfers use it. How like the Bible uses it, you know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Full of awe.
Let's see.
You
Okay.
get any back from our Twitter beef?
No, not a single reply. I think it might have been a bot. It's hard to differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
Like actual. Let me look at this guy's profile real quick.
Oh, of course it was a bot.
You think so?
Yes. that's all. I bet all of those people that I'm talking about when I'm like, no, you can't reason with those kind of people are bots. That makes perfect sense. And we know that Russians use bots in the 2016 election. Like, we know that. That's what people keep forgetting about the Mueller report. I don't care if Trump's innocent or guilty. It says on the first page they interfered. They were wanting to do something to our election, and they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Or possibly. Well, depending on what you think. If they succeeded or not, doesn't matter.
The fact that they
did
interfered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were they government agents or just foreign agents?
Who?
The people who interfered.
Yeah, there's like an entire bureau in Russia. They do disinformatia and compromat. They do two different branches of attack. They try to give out fake information, and they try to gather information on people that's incriminated, like compromat, and disinformatia. Sounds
Why?
like because it's effective. It's a tool their government uses
in order to
to keep their. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like this 2016 election is the strongest divide in our country since the Civil War. I think like even talking about politics to certain people is, and this is kind of why we're doing the show, is hard.
That's why.
Yeah, you can't talk to people. Like for instance, my girlfriend she isn't very politically motivated at all. However, she absorbs the memes just like the public does, and she thinks Trump bad because meme. Because
if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't hold her against it. This is just the information she has. She doesn't really have the time to look into it.
Yeah.
But she feels that way because she's a very emotionally driven person. So the way that she feels is the way that she acts, right? And there's a lot of people like that. I'd say there's a very, very huge amount of people in this country that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think those types of people are being taken advantage of with the way that the 2016 election went and how the media is trying to, or has succeeded in making a label for the president of the United States as being a certain amount of things. What she latched onto is his anti-woman behavior.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's hard not to, right? So he said, grab him by the expletive in a locker room, right?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
In a bus. It wasn't in a locker room.
It was in a bus? Okay.
They just called it locker room talk.
Okay, I see. And well, and then no, I don't.
Trump was cooling down after some racquetball.
He was playing golf in the locker room. Have you seen him in his golf suit? He looks like such an old man.
Yeah, he's old. He's aging. He's aging fast in the office.
That's the thing, because of the I'm gonna go ahead and just keep referring it to as a witch hunt. It's created a vacuum that just sucks in people who are emotionally driven. It's hard for a person like that to say, okay, I understand that this person may not adhere to my views, but is he a valuable leader in the way that he deals with other nations, or the way that he negotiates with the other branches of government, and et cetera and so forth.
Or she's a really experienced person or a smart person, and she believes that someone who's going to pose danger to people's expletives should not be leading us.
That's fair. That it's hard to put a line.
That could be a cold, calculated, logical decision.
Mm-hmm.
A survival tip. I mean, honestly, that doesn't have to be emotional.
When so like you'd say that there may have been a legitimate risk of him signing into law something discriminatory towards females?
No, just that the way that his brain works isn't trustworthy.
Oh, okay. So it's more abstract then.
Yeah. I know people, like, if you know someone like that, Trump is a little scarier. And I've met someone like that. But Trump can turn it off though. I've heard that when you're in the same room with Trump, he's just completely normal.
Like he's a respectable person.
He's a completely normal guy. Yeah. He just has this crazy stream of consciousness that he launches into whenever he's in public. And it's kind of captivating, obviously, because people have voted for him. But I've met people that can't turn that off, and they've always been very scary.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So maybe she's coming from a place like that. Like, oh, those grab the expletives? Nah, they don't. They make weird decisions.
That's fair. I can agree with that. I got
one. Yes.
Well, but my point still stands. I think I think that people, I think that this. But my argument is that the way that the media is handling things is harmful to people who are more emotionally driven.
Yeah, it is.
There's I've met people who will cry or yell about something they feel about instead of talking about why they feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And those types of people are the people that the media was and is being predatory towards. Mm-hmm. They want to get people mad or sad. And I think that's really despicable. Because they're not reporting facts. Well, I mean, I guess technically they are, but they're not doing it.
The spin that they put on it,
yeah, that's what it is.
Irresponsible. It's almost like how I could say that like I would compare everyday leftist media to an Alex Jones hardcore right-wing rant.
Yeah,
in a way, because it's dangerous to people that are, like you said, I don't want to call those emotional people.
I'd say like
emotionally driven people. I don't want to make this sound like I'm comparing emotionally people to the people that listen to Alex Jones, because the people that listen to Alex Jones are legitimately mentally.
So that you cut out legitimately what?
Legit. Did I cut out? Maybe that's a sign I shouldn't be going down this rabbit hole. But
you got deleted by Discord.
I think that Alex Jones is mentally ill, and I think that a large portion of his fan base is also mentally ill, and that conspiratorial drive that he has is actually dangerous. It like pushes people that are in an emotional position over the edge sometimes.
You think so?
It's endangered him, and it's endangered. I mean, you remember the Sandy Hook shooting that happened?
I do remember it happened. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was a big Alex Jones kick, right? He was saying that it didn't really happen; it was a conspiracy theory, and people that yeah, he said that a lot.
Oh my gosh!
And it's not just harmless media pandering to people's emotional fears if it's going to cause like dangerous people to do something that's bad and awful and like torture those parents of the kids that died and stuff like that. I would say I would compare leftist propaganda to that wholeheartedly, because I think the crime lies on both sides.
It's two things. It's one, emotions get people to click. right? If you get mad in an article, then you're going to want to click on it and see what it says. And then when you click on it, you have like 5 different ads already, and you've given this news company like 17 cents or whatever. And because of that, it's because it works, right? They do this because it works. We are at fault as much as they are. And it's sad. The other reason is it's politically motivated as well. Like these
that's the bad one.
These media outlets want this to happen. They want a Democrat to be voted in as president, or they want more people to be mad about this, so they think this way. And that one is their fault entirely, and I hate that.
Yeah, absolutely. That political motivation is disgusting.
Did you see that Kotaku and
the video game maker?
Kotaku is a video game news outlet.
Oh,
okay. You were close. And Deadspin, which is a sports news outlet, they fired a lot of journalists that were making political pieces instead of talking about actual game news.
Mm-hmm.
You see that happened like in the past couple days.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge step in the right direction for legitimate journalism. Like over the last few years, Kotaku's gotten such a bad rap for you click on it and it's talking about how that the second Mass Effect game or the third Mass Effect game didn't have enough inclusivity, or like why is that super important in game development that there's not enough? This is a game where you go into space and you meet aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling up an abstract thought. Help me out here.
So this game where you are fighting aliens suddenly becomes an emotionally charged weapon when the right person looks at the right part of it at the right angle.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hate that. I really hate that. It's like you can't talk about real things anymore. And I think that's also a third issue. What was the first two that you named? You said the political problems. There's a political motivation.
And ads.
And ads.
It makes money.
Monetary motivation. And those are both disgusting. But also, there's a third problem with that. It's not a motivation, I guess, technically, but it's that you can't tell the difference between an emotionally charged piece about a video game and a bot trying to spam you into believing or disbelieving something on the internet. Those people sound the same.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a danger. It's almost like I'm getting so extreme. My black coffee's hitting me. It's almost like treason, because if you're making it harder to tell who's bots, you're kind of assisting the enemy who's trying to meddle in our election with bots on the internet.
I mean, indirectly.
Indirectly, yeah.
Excuse me. It's hard to put an actual label on it because they're not technically doing anything illegal. It's these. Do you know of anybody who likes the news?
No.
In the last 8 years, have you talked to anybody who watches the news and and has it as a respectable source of information, or any news outlet on the internet even?
No, I don't.
I don't think people, at least not younger people, go to news outlets to look into things. I think they go for primary sources, which is really good nowadays. I think people who actually have political opinions that they look into, they do all the research themselves if they care about it. And I think that's a really good thing. But the news back 20, 30 years ago and before was such a powerful tool in order to inform people about what's going on. With the advent of the internet and ad spaces and whatnot, and how powerful that could be, it's drained the people of a valuable resource in news.
Yeah, that's awful that like we being informed is like a pillar in our society, and like anybody trying to compromise that is not looking out for our country's best interest. I think that if you're whatever your motivations are, the end result is going to be the same. It's going to like damage us if we can't have a reasonable discussion about what to do next because we're talking over the internet. Speaking of which, we get any responses back?
Nah, I don't think we're gonna
Trying
get
to
one.
make it work. Oh, okay.
What was one of the other things we talked about on the oh, we could actually do a complete 180 if and talk about a completely different subject that I'd like to if we're done with this one.
Let's do that.
Okay. So we haven't talked about this, I don't think. Would you want to live forever?
Oh gosh. I don't know.
Let's say you got to age 28 and then just stopped aging. Would you want that?
I don't know. And I think my answer, my knee-jerk reaction, is going to be no. Because I've read an article about living forever. And if you live forever, mathematically, your chances of becoming trapped forever in some type of rocky crevasse or under a tree
Sure.
are
very,
go
very
up
high.
to 100. They go up to 100%.
Yeah.
There's no way out for you.
So
except trapped in a crevasse.
Let's say, for sake of the argument, it's you don't age anymore. Like you can still get hit by a bus.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But you stop aging.
You're gonna make me think about this. I would be constantly afraid of the threat of death like I am now. So I don't think it would make much of a difference. I would love to be able to. Can everyone else live forever?
Sure.
Or is it only me?
Well, we'll start with everybody is able to do. Well, we'll say only you for now. Actually,
only me. Then I can't. I can't live. Well, but I could tell the future about the follies of the past. I don't know. Oh gosh, I wish I could. You'd be able to tell if time was cyclical. You probably wouldn't survive the heat death of the universe.
You probably would not survive that. No, if it got to 0 degrees Kelvin, then you would probably be dead.
We've got. If I had the option to self-destruct my cranium, that's a good option. You have the right. If you have the right to not, yeah.
If you have the right to end your life at whenever you wanted to, yeah, that's a big difference between living forever and not aging. Because I don't want to live forever. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would love to stop aging. Me personally, if I had the option to, I would totally go for that. So let's extend it a bit. What if it was? So if it's just you, would you go for it?
No, I can't because I don't want to see all my loved ones die.
What if you and 10 people of your choosing? Would you want to do for it?
Yeah, I would do that.
You would do that?
I would do that for sure. I would assemble a team of warriors to patrol the galaxy for fighting crime. No, I would probably pick.
That'd be a pretty good action movie.
Yeah, that'd be good. We should probably get some more coffee and hash that out, right?
No.
Right now on this podcast. I got my script. I got my script right here.
So here's the thing about living forever. So you can't. There's a company, I believe in California, that will, after you die, take your body and freeze you. And keep you frozen until science is medically advanced enough that you can be revived and live out for the rest of ever. So would you do that?
I think I would be conservative in that regard, in that I wouldn't want to change the status quo, me, myself, personally. I think I would try to not do that because, and this sounds crazy, but I don't want to play God. Like, if I were to get hit by a bus tomorrow, you know, and I'd find out what happens after you die, that's one thing. But if I go to people and I hand them money and they say, hey, we're going to find out what happens if we do this to you.
What do you mean?
that puts the power, like they aren't hitting you with a bus and you're dead. They're
Right.
doing something to you that nobody knows what it does to you. What if you're stuck in your head? What if you're just there unconscious the whole time?
I
At
imagine
least
it'd be. I imagine
You
it'd be
think it'd
like
be
sleeping.
like death? You think it'd be like sleeping?
Well,
Yeah, I bet that's what they tell people too in their brochures.
when your brain is frozen, there's
We
no
bet
activity,
it'll
right?
be like sleeping.
When,
Put that
when
on
your
the sign.
when your brain is frozen, there's no activity, right? Like your
Yeah.
brain isn't working.
There's no electricity moving.
So it's like it's similar to how it was before you were born.
But I saw an episode of Ancient Aliens where a girl was dead, and she remembered stuff happening while she was dead.
Then it must be true.
There wasn't electricity moving through her brain. You have to ask yourself. One has to ask. I hope Nikki's hearing because she's going to be going crazy right now. We love Ancient Aliens in my house.
The question though is when your brain is completely frozen, do you have the ability to think? And the answer is definitely 100% no. You can't.
You don't know. You can't know. Do you have the ability to think when your brain is spattered by a vehicle?
No.
You don't know.
I do. I can say that with 100% certainty.
You consider with 100% certainty there's nothing after death.
No, not necessarily. There's no brain activity after death, is what I'm saying.
What about, how do you know that, though? You can't know that, though. What if your brain is a different thing? What if the electricity that's you goes somewhere? So that was an abstract way of saying that. I'm sorry. I saw your look. Your brain is electricity at the very base of it. That's what we know, right?
Right.
Unless there's a soul or something in between the electricity. We don't know that yet.
Sure.
But the electricity that's you could definitely go into a different form and be still thinking. You don't know that. You're saying that you know what happens after death, and that's subjectively. You remember when you said you could?
So you totally cut out. You remember when what?
You remember when you said that you could comprehend infinity at work?
No, I think I said the opposite.
Oh, okay. Somebody was saying, I was like, you know how you can't comprehend it? And they're like, no, I can. I was like, no, you can't. It's like the human condition. We can't comprehend it. He's like, no, I can. I picture it right now.
Yeah, infinity. I'm drawing it. Yeah. Sideways.
Here's a circle. You know how this circle, see how it doesn't have a beginning?
Whoa.
What? Yeah, but anyway, I'm off on a tangent.
Your brain dies, and you get no more thinking. Whether or not your soul continues to exist is another story entirely. Is your soul bound to your body while your brain is working, or does it require your brain to die before you leave?
So my choices are to find out.
You totally cut out again. Why do you keep cutting out?
I'm cutting out more?
I think it's because you're leaning away from your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Here, I'll put it up to me.
Nice. Gosh,
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
So I had said that you stop thinking. Whether or not your soul keeps existing is yet to be determined.
Oh yeah. So my options in this existence that I have are to find out my soul's interaction with the universe naturally, or to roll the dice and find out how my soul interacts with a human mechanical freezing machine. You know what I mean? Not exactly. You don't think that's kind of spooky?
Well,
you're definitely not conservative in that regard then, because conservatives like to keep things. They think that the way we have it is good. And I think that natural death is kind of like part of life. But I'm not superstitious, but I don't want to hand someone money and then go to my soul.
You totally cut out again. Hand someone money and what?
I don't want to hand someone money and then say, okay, let's see what happens to my soul now. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I get where you're coming from. At least
I'm just.
It's not necessarily superstitious. It's religious. Like there's people who think that way too.
I'm a religious person. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we've discussed that before.
Comment says, Romwind, I believe that what is beyond death is an experience so incredible that the human mind couldn't comprehend it in the slightest. Human consciousness wasn't designed for anything beyond this world, so death is transcendent. And then he goes on further to say, we were all dead once too.
Right. That's always what I kind of think of it. I mean, I think that the Christian heaven is like an allegory in a book. I always kind of pictured it more like being like before you were born, like you said. Did I cut
Yeah.
out again?
No,
Okay.
I nowadays religion is so based on how you feel about death with people, because like religion is the percentage of people who are actually like outgoing and sticking to religious values has been diminishing so much.
Yeah.
Um, so it's hard for me to say, really. Like, what is the religion that was created 2,000 years ago? Is that the right one?
I don't.
It,
I don't. Well, go ahead.
it the answer is I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen when I die. Do I think that it's worth risking, like
Mhm.
freezing myself and then seeing what happens after that? Maybe,
Yeah.
because like I exist right now. I didn't experience me sleeping last night, right? I just kind of closed my eyes and then I woke up and there was I wasn't bored in the meantime. I wasn't sad that I couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that your specific risk is anything to worry about, in my opinion.
Huh. So you would compare being frozen for an we've never unfrozen somebody, Don.
Not successfully, no. We've actually done.
So
We have
that is
unfrozen
it's the
tissue.
exact same. It's the exact same situation though.
Well, the thing is either
It's
I
just
get two
death in a
options.
box.
Well, yeah, that's one. It's two options. Either one, we do unfreeze them and they continue living, or two, they're dead
Yeah, exactly.
and they're not going to come back.
Or the third option, which is something different happens to you because you tried to extend your life forever.
So you think there'd be divine retribution for that?
There could be. I don't know. I think that there's some force. This is my stance on religion. Is I think there's something in the universe that we call morality and that Christian people call God. And it's like this actual tangible essential part of our universe that can be interacted with
Mm-hmm.
and has like reactions. And there's humans, like, you know how you can see color.
Right.
Humans can see the spectrum called
Visible light.
morality.
Oh, okay.
Morality. Yeah, not invisible light, morality. And there's some humans that can see it better than others. And I thought that for a long time Jesus was really close. So I was a disciple of Jesus, you know.
Okay.
And I'm leaning more towards Mormonism,
Really?
actually. Yeah, because I think that anytime you upgrade a religion, it's good. Like Jesus
Interesting.
revamped the entire religion and he said, "Hey, you don't have to sacrifice cows anymore. We should just be better to each other." And I think he was totally right.
Hmm.
And I think that this guy Joseph Smith, who says like you don't have to be a Christian to get into heaven. There's lots of ways into heaven. I think that's true too. I agree with them on those 2 points.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
My problem with revamping religion in general is like, so at what point is it this religion sucks? I need to make it better for the now times because it doesn't work for my values as I live now, because society and technology has changed so much that this religion doesn't work. If I'm not mistaken, religion was started as a set of ground rules that a divine being set in motion and then didn't touch after that point, right? So who are we to change those rules?
So we aren't changing them. We're just being able to see them. We're evolving.
Is that true? That's human perception of divine.
We evolved to see color, didn't we? We evolved to be able to hear a range of frequencies. So wouldn't it make sense that if there's something divine in the universe, we evolved to be able to see what's right and wrong? And can't you see what's right and wrong? How do you
That
square that? How do you square being able to see right and wrong with not believing there's an absolute truth
and
in the world?
how do you filter out arrogance and that we're better now and so we can think about better than we were 2,000 years ago?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a genuine fear that I have. And that's why I reject most organized religion. Because anytime money starts changing hands, it makes me so angry.
Oh yeah.
It makes me so angry whenever any money is changing hands because of some religious context. Unless it's like going to right out of the church to help people, like the institution of the church is supposed to. Did we get a comment back?
We got
What's happened?
we got a reply on Twitter.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It wasn't
Shut
from
up,
the same
shut up,
person.
shut up.
Okay,
Shut up,
so
James.
we got a reply from Mike. Is his name?
Oh God.
The question should be, what crimes didn't he commit? To inform the people who weren't here the whole time. I posted on Twitter. Here, I'll post the link to it. I posted a reply to this comment on Twitter. Who said that Donald Trump is going to be impeached? Blah blah blah. You could read it if you want to. I posted the link in chat. And I said, hey, what are you referring to specifically as in what crimes did he commit? And someone replies to and says, the question should be, what crimes didn't he commit? With 4 exclamation points.
All right. We tried your way. You ready to start lying?
I don't want to lie. That's not fair.
It's not fair. No, we're going to say, seriously, tell
You cut out again. Seriously, tell me what?
Seriously, tell me I have to do a book report.
I can just say...
Like the comment and then say, LOL, what's good? I'm trying to do a book report, though.
I'll say, seriously, though, I'm trying to get information for my podcast.
Oh, yes.
Any ideas?
We're going to find out if he's a bot.
This is a different guy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. This is not the person who made the original reply to the Trump tweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what crimes he committed. I mean, we're just asking a person what they... This is a political discussion.
Okay. You were talking about religion though before we got cut off.
Anyway, so yeah, I believe that humans see morality, and I believe that is because of a presence in the universe that we call God. And I think that if Jesus saw it better than previous religions did, like I believed for a lot of my life when I was younger, because I was born into Christianity, then I think that other people can also see what's right and wrong in different ways, or in better ways, not different, because there's an absolute truth that exists and we're just all looking for it.
So I believe, so there's actually a thing in the scientific community. First you become before you become a scientist, you believe in God. When you first become a scientist, you do not believe in God. After you've been a scientist for a long time, you believe in God again.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is, first, before you've gotten a certain amount of information, you believe in God because you think it's whether the right thing to do, or because you think that everybody else tells you to. Yeah, there's so many different reasons. Then once you learn about how the universe works, you think, wow, so it's all science. There's no God. And then after you get really deep into it, science becomes so crazy. How could this exist without a God?
Mm-hmm.
And that's so interesting to me. There's a new game that just came out called The Outer Worlds. There's a type of religion in that game where they believe that the universe was created by some sort of grand architect, and then after everything was set in motion, they walked away and never came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super interesting.
That's rationalism. Mm-hmm. Benjamin Franklin was a rationalist.
That the universe was created by a higher power, but then after that, there was nothing as far as divinity goes.
He put the clock in motion.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm kind of in favor of that in a Christianity sort of way. So imagine if a divine being came to Earth now in these times. Like, that would never go away because of our ability to transfer information, right?
Right.
So how long ago were the events in the Bible, right? Wasn't it like 6,000 years ago?
About, I think. There's a lot longer than that too.
So what What was special about those times?
Well, all of that stuff was, you're talking about miracles.
Right. What
Yeah.
what was that legitimate miracles and people talking to God, like the story of what is it? The Abraham with his son.
Yeah. The taking him up the hill and then God saying, "Oh no, don't kill him."
Right. That
Isaac,
so
yeah.
did this person actually have a direct communication with God?
Have you ever had a direct communication with God?
I haven't. And
You haven't had one? You
that
never had an intuition?
maybe and without realizing it, but it so the things that happened that thousands of years ago, people were really superstitious, right?
Mhm.
With so if people have the opportunity to look into the Bible and read it, it's easy to say that this could just be explained with a bunch of different things, right?
Yeah, rationalism. Yeah.
And so that's the sort of thing. If it happened in these days, there would be like permanent, undiscernible, or not undiscernible, undeniable proof, right?
Yeah.
So,
Which, I mean, there's floods in
mhm,
today, and there's spontaneous combustion today,
yeah.
and there's snakes. You can there's isn't there something about feeding snakes something that makes them all look like stiff, so
Mm-mm.
it looks like the stomach
I
turns
don't.
into a snake. There's a lot of really fun. That's kind of a cop out for most like harder Christians. Is that if you believe, you have to believe no, there's actually miracles, or else you don't have faith. And I think that I can answer for that too. Actually, I have a good answer for that one.
Okay.
Is that believing in something, and like if I had a time machine, right? And I actually wrote a short story about this at Westland, but it didn't get published for reasons you'll find. Is that there was a time machine,
Mhm.
and you go back in time, and you find out that like like no one actually got Jesus out of the tomb. He just actually died.
Uh huh.
The boulder didn't move. Are you going to stop being a Christian? And the guy doesn't, of course. You don't stop being a Christian because it's not larger than life. You start being a Christian because you have a relationship with this thing in the universe.
Like you believe in those ideals.
Yeah, the ideals of this man that was like brave enough to like be like, "Hey, I'm shouting out what I see."
I think religion formed morals for humans
You
hundreds
think
to thousands of
cuz
years ago.
so you don't believe in absolute truth.
Not with
You believe
morality.
it's yeah, not with morality.
I
Or
think
I mean,
I think
yeah.
morality is a man-made concept.
You think morality is a man-made concept and we all
Yes.
have it?
Yes, because of how of how people are upbrought. I think if we put a child in a cage and gave them no outside influence, when we let them out, they wouldn't know the difference between or they wouldn't like blink about someone dying on the street.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm,
You don't
I
think
don't.
there's a fundamental reaction to that?
No, I don't.
There's a fundamental you don't think there's a fundamental reaction to death? What
I
about
I
other
don't I don't think they would run over and try to help them. No.
well, yeah. Is that a straw man? Am I using that right?
Uh, a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, eventually it just I there's three this is all kind of small potatoes in the argument that I'm doing, which is called a apologetics. It's where you try to explain the existence of God through natural means and philosophical means.
Hmm.
Like the big argument that Richard Dawkins always uses, there's three things that you can't have in a God. If he's all knowing and he's all good and he's omniscient, so he knows everything,
Uh huh.
then you have to be sad because he knows everything, but he still lets bad things happen. And he can stop everything from happening, but he doesn't. If you believe in an all powerful God, you can't believe in an all good God.
Right.
That's the argument that Richard Dawkins was saying in this other thing I was listening to. But the real apologetic argument that comes up against that is that we can't comprehend what is good and what is bad all the way.
Right.
Kind of like what you're saying,
Yeah, I think
which is interesting.
if you do believe in God, you realize that there's the divine intervention isn't in the form of stopping atrocities anymore. It's like sending people to stop atrocities and making people want to do that. That's how divine intervention is taken nowadays.
Yeah.
There's no person who's going to just snap their fingers and make the bad things go away. It's giving people the power to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what religion is all about, is that we were given free will by a higher power, so we should use it in ways that should represent that higher power.
Yeah.
Am I making sense here?
Yeah, absolutely. I exist because of this thing. Therefore, I owe it to this thing to impart its will onto the world.
Mm-hmm.
And most people believe that his will is like actually helping people, but there's like a minority of people that are just like the people on the far left and right making ads and selling ideas instead of facts. Like Joel Osteen. I'm gonna bag on Joel Osteen once every single episode.
You really don't like that guy. He's making money from Christianity.
He's making money from Christianity. Lennox in the house.
What's up?
What's up, Lennox? Lennox is my nephew.
Hey.
All right, this is really heavy, Lennox. Sorry. Oh man.
You were saying?
Hi, Lennox. Yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I was listening to you talk about religion and Joel Osteen.
I'm gonna bag on Joel Osteen once every episode because he just makes me so angry that he preaches prosperity gospel. It's like a really out of context methodology, I think, that he invented, that says if you give money to the church, you'll get money back, and the church doesn't have to give you money back. So is the caveat there.
I see.
But I think for the most part, there's people that want to do good, though.
There's people who take advantage of morality all the time, and I think that's really rampant with left media in these days, about people who you want to be nice to minorities, for instance, because they're getting the bad end of the stick, and so it's you should never say something bad about them. So therefore, the people who aren't wanting to help minorities are bad, right? And that's the thing that gets spun all the time about people who want to. You want to be a good Christian, right? So you want to follow what Joel Osteen says, because he's definitely a good Christian because he's making a lot of money, right? He has his own TV show. And Baby Lucy and Wifey.
Yes, I told you the whole family is going to be watching. I hope they didn't miss all that stuff we were talking about before.
Okay, so we've been on religion for a little while.
Let's lighten it up.
So let's say here, how about let's talk about something completely totally random. Would you want to spend your part of your paycheck on making it so that we have a military presence in space?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not. What about you?
I mean, I think it's cool. I think that if we created another space race, it would only benefit.
Why?
Because it's so
okay. A space race is trying to get them. It's like scientific capture. It's fun in games unless you're Russia, and then you're just lobbing people into space trying to get one to stick. But
slingshotting a few dogs.
For the most part, it was a spirited adventure into the unknown, partaken by different countries.
Oh yeah,
because they were beefing with each other. But you're talking about an armed presence in space.
Yeah.
You're not talking about going up and finding the coolest rocks and figuring out
I'm talking Halo Combat Evolved levels of orbital spaceships that could drop a nuke in your backyard in less than a minute.
I'm going to disregard all the philosophical implications and point out that guns don't work in space.
Yeah,
You can't shoot someone in space. If you shoot someone, you make a bunch of little bullets out of what you just shot them with, and their ship turns into 1,000 bullets and flies in all different directions.
Oh, if you blow up their ship just hits you. Is that what you're saying?
Their ship is going to explode and shoot you with little bits of shrapnel. So you can't really, and you can't turn a ship like you know how aircrafts are like doing the fights in our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that game Asteroids?
So, okay, so
and you slide that way. That's how.
I asked you this for a reason, because it's been a few months now, but Donald Trump says that he wanted to create a space force. Right?
Yeah, maybe I'll go there. I might go there. Who knows? Yeah.
So
I believe it. I just undoubtedly believe you.
So you would not support Donald Trump's American Space Force then?
No. Can we? I mean, don't waste money sending guns up there and like weapons. Mm-hmm. You could be sending valuable scientific equipment. We could be getting off this planet soon. We could be doing anything. We could colonize other planets, right? That would be cool. I would support that, but I don't support using something that won't work to fight with. No. You'd like physically it won't work. It's a bad question, Donald.
Okay. So
what do you support it? Let me hear your thoughts. I've been rambling.
I just think it'd be
anybody can. He says, okay, somebody did do some research for us. Thank you, Romwood. Space warfare is Kessler syndrome on crack. What is Kessler syndrome? I need to look up this definition. Here, hold on. What is crack?
Wrong thing we're looking up.
Sorry.
Okay, Kessler syndrome, also called the Kessler effect, proposed by a NASA scientist named Donald Kessler, good name, is a scenario in which the density of objects in low Earth orbit is high enough that collisions between objects would cause a cascade, and that each collision creates space debris that increases the likelihood of further collisions. So yeah, that's exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. You said it, and it's
work.
A thing.
Yeah, it's rare. Hey, we finally got one. We need a little score up here for me. Yeah. So, should we? What do you have the pinned comment up? Do you know how to navigate better than me?
What do you want me to look at?
I don't know. I thought there was something else on our pinned comment that we
could try to
discuss.
Here.
Do you have an example from the what were we going to look at before? The political spectrum test that we kind of had to skip over?
No, I didn't get enough of that. Okay. No, we talked about everything on our list. We need to add more stuff. The research and development generated for a space force would be beneficial. That's why I would support it, is because I think that'd be super duper and beneficial. Alex was a libertarian socialist.
Yeah. According to the test, was I? Oh, gosh, that's bad. We need to redo that, but make harder answers, I think.
We'll just answer all the I'll answer all the conservative ones, you answer all the liberal ones.
Yeah, and see what pops up. Just to get a floor on this thing.
Okay, so here, let me. There's a shorter one. Yeah, I have that one saved. Alex. Actually, no, someone in chat. Come up with an argument that me and Alex can talk about in 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've already covered everything. Oh, I wish they had seen all the cool. We were so smart a second ago about spaceships going. I was just like, Richard Dawkins. I'm gonna grab some coffee while we get the question.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, it could be anything. It could be something stupid. Just let us argue. We'll have way more material next time. On buying Greenland.
Who?
Okay, Alex. Legitimate debate here. Here we go. Should the United States buy Greenland? Yes or no?
Buy Greenland?
Yes. Should we just buy it? That big chunk of ice in the ocean. Should we buy it?
How much are they charging for that?
That's not the question.
You should. I've been house hunting. I'm being like, how's the backyard?
How's the backyard? How's Iceland?
Yeah. Well, I've heard that Greenland is ice.
Greenland is ice. Yes. So would you want to buy Greenland? Would you want the United States to throw money and then purchase that land?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I say no.
I think there's no bad publicity, and I think that would be great for our image.
You think?
Just go buying up land. It's the people don't want us to buy it, right? Like we'll be invading. I
Sure.
assume.
Sure.
Yeah. Just kidding. We just lost all our Greenland's listeners.
So I'd say no. We don't want. Oh, okay. Here's another argument that we have. From Linux, Doritos versus Cheetos. So we'll get to that in a second. We shouldn't buy Greenland because I think it's a waste of money and there's no profit to be made from it.
You think there's no profit to be made from something? That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
No, we're just buying Greenland's chunk of ice, right?
Who's buying it? Is Trump
the United States? The United States.
Is it like whose decision is it though? Who's going to make the final call?
Well, it would have to go
influence your decision.
It would have to go through our parliament, or our parliament. Yeah, you know what I mean. Our legislation is what I meant to say.
Yeah. It would have to. I think that if there's I don't know. I would love to do some research on maybe drive by it. You know,
just drive by Greenland.
Like
get in your car and just look out the window. Huh.
I don't know. I can't really commit to anything.
Okay.
See it.
That's fair.
House hunting mode. But
so here's something we can talk about though: Doritos versus Cheetos.
Cheetos, crunchy Cheetos or puffy Cheetos?
We'll say both. We'll say we get the variety. Like you can choose any type of Cheetos, including the Flamin' Hot or the jalapeno ones.
If you get Doritos instead of Cheetos, you're a sinner. And you
really?
missed a ton. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Okay.
Those crunchy Cheetos, bro. Have you had them?
Yeah.
They're so good.
I've had any kind of Cheeto you can think of that gets sold in a common Walmart. I say Doritos.
Doritos?
Yeah.
What's your because there's more variety, right?
Not even like just Cool Ranch Doritos. They're better than Cheetos.
Cool Ranch Doritos? They get on your fingers. Have you ever eaten a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos successfully?
Okay,
no.
So
there's gonna be crumbs everywhere. The triangle's bigger than your mouth.
The only person on the planet, the only person who on the planet can eat Cheetos without making a mess is Donald Trump because his skin is the same color as what gets on your fingers. Okay,
hey, that was good. That was good.
So I don't know what your argument is that there's a mess from Doritos but not Cheetos.
Those crunchy Cheetos, if you get the Flamin' Hot, that stuff's not even possible of like being on your skin. It's like a. Are you sure? Hey, can we look this up, Jamie? Pull that up.
I've eaten Cheetos recently, and they got on my. I use a fork to eat Cheetos, Alex.
Okay, you're using a lot of anecdotal, emotionally
driven Cheetos arguments.
I think you're a shill for the far left, and those libs in there. Yeah, fake.
We are the libs, Alex. We learned this last podcast.
We need to retake the test because I know that you're not a lib. You're not even close.
However,
I do like whenever anyone is like a little bit liberal, they're like, yeah, well, I want to take care of poor people. It makes my heart warm.
Yeah.
So I guess I might be a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Doritos are better than Cheetos, right?
Gosh.
Yes.
I can't admit to that. I don't know. These Cheetos. Have you ever had Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
I have.
It's better than a cup of coffee. Wake you up in the morning.
I like Cheetos.
There's no spicier alternative that Doritos makes.
I like Cheetos. I think Cheetos are great. I've had some of the best Cheetos, but Doritos are just better. Okay. Doritos have you have a Dorito for any type of occasion. You have Cool Ranch Dorito. You want to eat Cheetos, but they're not as good, so you want a Dorito? Nacho cheese Doritos?
They're not sending their best Cheetos. They're sending their drug dealers. And I assume some of the Cheetos are good Cheetos.
Bye, Linux.
Bye, Linux. Sorry you just saw the end of the podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Well, let's give a shout out for our I think it's our producer at this point, Romwin.
He's always here.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Ron.
He loves politics. He's always the stuff he talks about. He's young. He's way younger than I am. The stuff he talks about, I'm like, wow, this person pays attention.
I know. We should all be more like Ron.
Yeah, for real.
Ron seems pretty smart. So what do you think of us, Ron? Are we holding up?
Are we? Are we good enough for the Ron?
On a personal note, all these pregnancy hormones. This is probably such a weak podcast on my side.
Typical Americans out of 10. Hell yeah.
Typical Americans out of 10. Yes. Yes. Meeting expectations.
That's perfect. Doritos. I'm not gonna let this go until you admit that Doritos are better than Cheetos.
Name 5 different types of Doritos.
Cool Ranch, nacho cheese, the awesome buffalo wing ones that with the thicker Dorito chips.
Oh, they got
have you
buffalo
had those?
Wings with thicker chips?
They're called Doritos Jacked. They're so good, and they like annihilate my mouth.
Brother, are they spicy?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna get that, crunch it up into a fine paste, and put it on a fish that I catch. And then fry it. That's gonna be awesome.
They got let's see.
All right, fine.
You succeed with succeed with 3?
I'm a shill for Big Dorito, okay? Which is all Doritos, because you can't fit one in your. Okay, I'm done.
You know, I would actually like send you some Doritos. Have you not had those the Doritos for?
They're outlawed. They're outlawed in rational countries, Donald. You can't eat that. It's not true. It's not for human consumption.
I know breakfast cereals are outlawed in some countries because they're.
I'm sorry, you
100%
said breakfast
sugar.
Cereals?
No, I didn't. You know I didn't.
Okay. So what are you gonna be for Halloween?
What am I gonna be for Halloween?
Yeah.
That's tomorrow. I got nothing. I'm me. I'll be a here's a millennial joke for you. I'll be a disappointment because I have to be self-deprecating.
Yeah, and ironic, and faux ironic.
Really? Oh man, I'm telling you, the Doritos that taste like a chicken wing are the best Doritos.
Yeah,
the chips are thicker. Like they're hard to chew.
They have sad versions of. You do need to. They don't have the majority of our products. That's a Buddha booch, isn't it?
I want to add something real quick.
You're Canadian, right?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Is that too personal? Okay.
One of my
scans.
One of my other Canadian friends. She had torn her ACL. You know how they have free medical insurance there, right?
Yes.
You know, it took her 2 months to get surgery on it.
No fair. There's no time for me to look up things. I'm sure it'll work. Just give me free healthcare, please. 2
months with a torn ACL that she had to live with.
I'm sure that's one small example out of many popular examples. It's okay. So that means that for 2 months there were people being treated by the system. That's good.
That also had to wait. Had been waiting.
Doritos are not good, Donald. Stop trying to make Doritos.
Alrighty, we are at the end of our podcast. Thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Save me from my Alex, please.
Thanks everybody. Go ahead and hit that bell button, like the subscribe button, comment under the bell button. Make sure that you hit like on our subscribe button.
I don't think we have a subscribe button yet.
How about tell one friend about Twitch? Oh, look at that.
We will be here next week. Twitch.tv/reviving_discourse. Alrighty.
I did it too early. Hold on.
Bye.